You know, it's funny how we can just completely ignore something like gut health.
Oh, absolutely. Until it starts making itself known, right?
Exactly. Like most of us probably don't think twice about it unless, our stomach is really complaining.
That's very true. Discomfort is often the main trigger for people to even consider what's happening inside.
Right. But here's the thing. What if your gut health affects like way more than just digesting your food? What if it's tied into how you feel, your mood, or how often you get sick?
It's a fascinating area, and there's been a huge surge in research precisely because, well, its influence seems so wide-ranging.
Yeah, and that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive today. We want to explore that whole complex world inside you, focusing specifically on gut health.
And we're basing this conversation on a really helpful article from Harvard Health Publishing. It's titled, "5 Simple Ways to Improve Gut Health."
Perfect. So our goal here is to really unpack what that article says, pull out the key takeaways, and figure out the practical steps, that you can actually use.
Absolutely. Distill it down into actionable advice.
Okay, so let's set the scene a bit first. The article kicks off talking about the gut microbiome. I hear that term everywhere now. What exactly is that?
Right. So think of the gut microbiome as this massive, incredibly busy community of tiny organisms. Mostly bacteria, but also viruses, fungi, other little things.
Okay.
And they mainly live in your large intestine. The Harvard piece points out that a healthy person has, well, hundreds, maybe even thousands of different kinds of these microbes.
Wow, thousands. So it's not just a couple of bugs floating around, it's like a whole diversity in there.
Exactly, a complex ecosystem.
And why should we care so much about the health of this internal city? I mean, beyond just breaking down food, what's the bigger picture the source talks about?
That's really the core of it. The balance and, importantly, the diversity of these microorganisms are just crucial.
Diversity, okay.
Yeah. A healthy, diverse gut microbiome supports so many things. Better digestion, yes, getting more nutrients from your food, but also a stronger immune system.
Immune system? Interesting.
Definitely. It helps protect you from harmful pathogens. It reduces inflammation throughout your body.
Inflammation, too.
And there are even potential links, the article suggests, to your cognitive function, your brain health, and your overall mental well-being.
Okay, hang on. So this isn't just about avoiding a stomach ache. We're talking about connections to our immune defenses, our brain function, maybe even how we feel emotionally, and body-wide inflammation.
That's what the growing body of research suggests and what the article emphasizes.
Yeah.
And nurturing this healthy, diverse gut microbiome, it might even help lower your risk for some pretty serious conditions.
Like what?
Things like type 2 diabetes, inflammatory bowel diseases, even certain types of cancer, various GI disorders, and cardiovascular disease. Its reach is, well, pretty significant.
Wow. Okay, that really changes how you think about what's going on inside, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
So, if this internal ecosystem is that important, what can we actually do about it? The article promised 5 simple ways. What's number 1? Where do we start, according to Harvard?
The very first key they identify is getting more fiber in your diet.
Fiber, okay, we hear about fiber all the time, but how does fiber specifically help this microbial community?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. The article explains that fiber acts as a prebiotic.
Prebiotic, like food for them.
Exactly. It's the primary fuel for the beneficial bacteria living in your gut. The source really highlights that eating plenty of fiber is strongly linked to having greater microbial diversity.
So more fiber means more different kinds of helpful bugs can thrive.
Precisely. You're feeding the good guys. And that, in turn, helps everything run smoothly. Less constipation, for example, and it supports overall colon health, partly by reducing inflammation there.
Makes sense.
The big challenge, though, as the article points out, is that most of us, especially in typical Western diets, just don't get nearly enough.
So how much should we be aiming for?
The target recommendation is pretty specific. Somewhere between 21 and 38 grams per day.
Okay, 21 to 38 grams. That's a clear goal. And where do we find this fiber?
The article gives a great list. Legumes are fantastic. Think beans, lentils, whole grains, of course, avocado, sweet potatoes, Brussels sprouts, tofu, berries, leafy greens.
So lots of plant-based foods.
Yes, and various nuts and seeds, too. Plenty of options to choose from, really.
All right, fiber is number 1, feed the microbes. Got it. What's the second simple step the article suggests?
Number 2 is staying properly hydrated, drinking enough water.
Water. Okay, that seems logical for digestion generally, right? Helps things move along.
It absolutely does, but the article notes its broader role, too. proper hydration helps your body absorb nutrients effectively. It helps regulate your temperature. It's needed to produce the protective mucus that lines your digestive tract.
Ah, that mucus lining is important, I bet.
Very. And crucially, hydration helps prevent constipation. And constipation, if it happens regularly, can actually negatively change your gut microbiota composition.
Oh, interesting. So avoiding constipation isn't just about comfort, it actually helps keep the microbial balance right.
That's the connection, yeah. And you usually know if you're dehydrated, feeling thirsty, headache, maybe tired.
Sure.
The source suggests a general target, around 4 to 6 cups of water per day for most people. The key is consistency.
4 to 6 cups. Okay, keep the water bottle close. Makes sense for us and our little gut buddies. Right, what's number 3? This one felt a little surprising, maybe, in a list focused just on the gut.
Number 3 is managing stress.
Stress management. How does something that feels so mental, like stress, directly mess with the physical gut environment?
The article really emphasizes this powerful connection. You've probably heard of the gut-brain axis.
Yeah, I have.
Well, it's a two-way street. And increased stress very often shows up physically as digestive problems. When you're stressed, your body releases hormones like adrenaline and cortisol.
The fight or flight stuff.
Right. And that spike can directly lead to symptoms like diarrhea or constipation, abdominal pain, even heartburn.
Okay, like those nervous stomach feelings before something important, that's literally the gut and brain chatting.
It absolutely is, and often not in a good way. Now, the source acknowledges you can't just eliminate all stress from life, of course.
If only.
Right. But learning techniques to manage it can make a big difference. They mention things like belly breathing, relaxation exercises, meditation. These can significantly lessen the negative impact on your digestion, and by extension, your gut microbiome.
So calming your mind genuinely helps calm your gut physically. That's fascinating. Okay, what's the 4th simple way?
The 4th one is getting enough sleep.
Sleep. Again, it feels like general health advice, but the article links it specifically to the gut. How?
It does. The source actually references research suggesting it might be another two-way street. Certain gut bacteria might influence your sleep patterns.
Really? The bacteria affect our sleep?
Potentially, yes. Things like whether you struggle with insomnia, how much you nap, even how long you stay asleep.
So does a healthier gut mean better sleep? Or does getting better sleep improve your gut? Or both?
That interconnectedness is exactly what the article seems to suggest. It's likely complex and bidirectional.
Okay.
The recommendation itself is pretty standard advice. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night for most adults.
The usual target.
Right. And if you're having trouble, the source points towards things like improving your sleep hygiene, getting some physical activity during the day, which we'll get to, and using those stress management techniques we just talked about.
See, it all links together again, doesn't it? Stress, sleep, activity.
Exactly. It really shows how these seemingly separate habits are actually quite intertwined.
Which flows perfectly into the 5th and final simple way from the Harvard article to boost gut health.
And that is staying physically active. Exercise.
Exercise for your gut. Okay, tell me more. What did the article find here?
Well, it cites a systematic review, basically a study of studies which found that consistent, moderate to high-intensity exercise seems to have a positive effect on the composition of your gut microbiota.
How much exercise are we talking?
They mentioned specifically aiming for about 150 to 270 minutes per week and doing it consistently for at least 6 weeks to see these potential benefits.
150 to 270 minutes a week, okay. And the article also mentions something about combining different types of exercise?
Yes, it suggested that mixing aerobic exercise like brisk walking, running, cycling with resistance training, lifting weights or using bands might offer even better results for gut health.
Interesting.
The research apparently shows observable differences between the gut microbes of people who are sedentary versus those who are regularly active.
Right.
But what's really encouraging, I think, is the idea that you can actively improve your gut health characteristics just by starting to exercise regularly, even if you haven't been very active before.
So just moving your body more could literally be making the environment inside you healthier.
That seems to be the key message, yes. So those are the 5 steps the article lays out. Boost your fiber, stay hydrated, manage stress, get enough sleep, and stay physically active. Simple, practical ways to support that thriving gut microbiome.
Okay, great. Let's try and wrap this up then. We've done a deep dive into this Harvard Health article, really digging into its insights on gut health. We started off by getting a handle on the gut microbiome itself, this incredibly diverse internal world of microorganisms.
And we learned how its health isn't just about digestion. It reaches much further, impacting things like your immune function, inflammation levels throughout your body, even your brain health, and potentially influencing your risk for some major diseases.
Right. And crucially, we've pulled out those 5 concrete, actionable steps that the source recommends you can take. Number 1, add more fiber to your diet.
2, stay well hydrated. 3, find ways to manage your stress.
4, prioritize getting enough quality sleep. And 5, be physically active.
Yeah, and what I find most compelling looking at the article's perspective is how deeply connected all these seemingly basic lifestyle habits are.
Right, they aren't just random be healthy tips.
Exactly. The source makes it clear. These actions directly influence that complex community of microbes in your gut. And that relationship, in turn, creates these ripple effects across your whole system.
Influencing everything from how well your immune system works, to your mood, your cognitive sharpness, maybe even your long-term disease risk.
Precisely.
So really, this knowledge gives you, the listener, tangible, practical ways to positively shape your own health just by focusing on your gut. And they aren't complicated medical procedures.
No, not at all. They're fundamental daily habits.
Yeah.
Small, consistent choices that essentially nurture this vital internal ecosystem.
Right, just tending to the garden inside.
So well put.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on, doesn't it? When you consider these profound connections the article highlights between your gut health and how you sleep, how you handle stress, how much you move, your disease risk, I mean, how might thinking about this hidden community inside you actually change the way you approach your overall health and well-being day to day?
It's a powerful perspective shift, potentially.
Maybe those simple daily habits, grabbing fruit instead of chips, taking a walk, doing a few deep breaths, going to bed a bit earlier, maybe they aren't just small things for you directly. Maybe you're also tending to this crucial internal partner, this microbiome, that's working constantly behind the scenes to support your health in ways we're really only just starting to fully understand.